Hello, this is Tom, aka Gedeon, here for Tabletop Tap Room and Star Frontiers Gamer. We're doing Fanzine Friday number 44, which means we are reviewing Frontier Explorer number 19. And you can guess where we got this cover for. It's the classic Larry Elmore, except these the colors on this are just so vibrant in the PDF. So I'm guessing we must have gotten not just a scan. We must have actually gotten color corrected artwork that had been treated by somebody in Photoshop or something, because this was seriously vibrant and just looked fantastic. We had an article, just a one-page from Tom Stevens, talking about the 35th anniversary of Star Frontiers. He got permission to offer a 35th anniversary patch. It was based off of this design. So the first article in the magazine is actually Star Frontiers birth locations. It's written by Exile in Paradise. That's his online handle. And I don't know his name. But so it is a character creation generation sets of tables here for just rolling up. Yeah, I don't know what planet to pick. He's from. Here he goes. Now, what's really interesting in here is I was noticing the off-planet births. Like, some of these listings are known space stations within the Frontier that the birth happened at that space station. So I kind of thought that was cool. That that was a cool addition to these tables. Now, the next article is by Joseph Cabadass, and it's looking at the Enora of old. Now, this is a review of what we know about the Enora, what's hinted at from their past, because they have a history that's effectively within the modules that's effectively a 1,000 years long, because 900 years before the Volturnus adventure, the Sathar showed up and destroyed their civilization. We are told that just before that, they had sent out exploration crafts, and so the presumption is that these exploration crafts went out into the universe, were exploring, encountered the Sathar, and that brought the Sathar back to Volturnus and led to what they call the Enora called the Day of Doom. So this is an interesting discussion. It's fairly thorough. All of Joseph's material goes in that direction. And so I just, and I especially like towards the end here, he talks concluding thoughts about Enora technology and mentalism and ESP and telepathy. And I found this to be very, very interesting, because we always have this swirling hints of telepathy and psychic powers kind of swirling around the drain on Volturnus. And, the Enora have touched telepathy. And, we're going to see later on here, I created something called Volturnian Psi Crystals. It's just, we have all these little hints that just keep bringing us back to this idea of psychic powers somehow connected with this planet. So I certainly appreciated him taking the time to cover this topic. Next up is solving the star metal sickness. This is an adventure. It's not a seed. There's quite a bit more here, more material. The basic idea is the player characters are called in by this Ulmor tribe that they encounter. And the tribe there's a sickness going on. And what has happened is the plot, basically, the spoiler alert, but the basic plot here is that one of their riders found some star metal that they took off an atomic powered starship that's down on the planet. And there's a few instances of these. And he brought it back. Well, it was a little close to the atomic drives, and the radiation is contaminated. So there's fallout on the metal, and they brought it back, and they're using it for trinkets, and people are getting sick. The Ulmor are getting sick. And so it's just a little bit of you come in, it's a bit of a skill challenge. It's something for the medic to do besides just, you know, playing cleric, doing cure light wounds every other combat. So that's, you know, what, you know, it was a little bit of a mystery, and then, you know, you've helped the Sonora tribe, and they're grateful to you for that. There's also a nice tie-in to the Volturnus Desert Encounter. It's another encounter I wrote where one of the pirate privateer ships, hyper-ignited on liftoff, was forced to land in the desert. The sand gave way underneath. It's canted at a 45-degree angle. And the pirates made the decision to strip the hull of everything they could carry off. So the player characters find it, but it's largely been stripped. There's a few tidbits you can find on it. The most important thing is that it's actually it's actually shelter during a sandstorm. And so I thought, you know, this could be tied in with that. And so you could actually have a little bit of bonus adventure items for your Volturnus campaign going on here. Next up is the Volturnian Psi crystals that I mentioned. And so these are basically, if you have mentalism powers, if you are a psychic in the game, you can use these to detect the use of psychic energy used within a certain radius based off the size of the crystals. You know, the tiny ones have the least amount of range, and the larger they get, the more valuable they get, the more money people will pay for them. But the greater the range it has to detect psychic powers going on. So it's just a simple little creation here. Next up is the MECHANON Revolt and its roots in the Battle of Vokos. This was an examination of the root causes of the MECHANON Revolt. We don't really get that. We just get some listings in the Zebulon's Guide timeline about the MECHANON Revolt. And, you know, so, you know, I was kind of digging into it and exploring what would be the roots and the causes. Why would the MECHANONs, who fought alongside the player characters and the Honora and the Almor and the Adescatai, you know, to oppose the Sathar at the Battle of Vokos, why would they suddenly revolt and attack everyone? And so that was what this article is all about. So if you're interested in exploring the MECHANON Revolt, you know, here's a one-page examination of what could be behind that cause. And then, so there's a whole Volturnus theme going with this particular issue. We now have Joseph Cabadas is Volturnus Before the Day of Doom, and this is a system brief on Volturnus as it existed before the Day of Doom, which is fantastic. I mean, he's taken everything we know and then extrapolated that. We know that they had a space industry. They were sending out interstellar craft. You know, so this is a fantastic work and resource for you, and I highly applaud Joseph for doing all this work. This is absolutely fantastic. I mean, look at this, page after page, map after map. And, you know, and this particular map is helping you relate the map, the hex map that's in Crash on Volturnus to the maps that he's doing here. So then we have the Drolosite Mubab. I'm not even sure I can pronounce that right. It's by Eric Windsor. It's the Ecology of article for this particular issue. And so it's a Drolosite creature that will mimic things and just sit there mimicking things, and stat block, and worked into the setting as well. Here's an image of the 35th anniversary commemorative patch that Tom Stevens did. And then we get into Titan Rising, the comic strip. And then next up was drones. Now, I worked on this article because we give certain things away for free at Character Creation, usually toolkits. And, military PSA will tend to get weapons and the Sky suit. Usually almost everybody gets a Sky suit for starting as a starting character. And I just feel like sometimes, roboticists, they get the RobCom kit. All right, so you can repair a robot. Well, what's the fun in that? I think somebody who wants to play a roboticist, I think they probably want to play with robots, honestly. So this was, and the robots priced out go for significant thousands of credits in setting. So this was an attempt to, let's do, stupid drones, like the kind of drones we have today. They don't have they have some processing power, particularly ones that fly. It's able to maintain itself in stable flight, make the adjustments, and then just go where the operator says, I want you to go here, and it handles the flying. And so that's what these are. So this whole drones article is introducing that. And when you get down to the bottom here, you've got this table. On this table, you've got the Gnat. This is a micro drone body with rotor movement. 25 credits. It's not an expensive drone, but you give the roboticist a drone, one of the controller devices, and he's able to operate this, and they can put a drone up and have it use its visual optics to see what's going on. The next one, the Nightingale, is a light drone body, rotor movement, and infrared optics. A little bit more, a little bit more to that. That's 350 credits. And so these all go between. Well, the most expensive one is 2,800, but there's definite options here to give the roboticist in the party a toy to play with in game that come in handy. Next up, we have Frontier in Miniature, and this was a tutorial on some cybots that I made, some cybernetic robots, half human, half robot. And so this is just a step-by-step on what I did to create these. And this guy here, I believe that is a cobblestone miniature of a 1800s sea captain. And I cut him off at the legs, and then this little spider legs here was a piece of jewelry, busted piece of jewelry I found in the street. And then this other little piece in here is just another doodad that I had in the bits box. And so I like this guy. I call him the Commodore. He's a cybernetic robot with he's lost his legs. He's got these spider legs. Kind of makes him a little creepy with the spider legs going on. But his arms behind his back, very stoic. I've always thought, like, I really got to use this guy as an NPC in my game. I think he's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe a pirate captain, the Commodore. Everybody's afraid of him, type of thing. Then we're going to have some book reviews in this issue. We've got Dystopian Futures. I had read two novels, The Courier and Impulse by Dave Barra, as Dystopian Futures, and kind of reviewed them. Those were currently in print and on bookshelves in the bookstores at the time. And then I thought, let me go find a blast from the past. And I found this one here. This is, Matthew Swain, Hot Time in Old Town. This is a very dystopian future, radioactive wastelands on Earth. And but it does have a Star Frontiers feel to it. And this guy's a private investigator investigating, some crime has happened, and he's been hired by a member of the family to find out what went on. And so I was looking to read a private investigation kind of sci-fi that fits the Star Frontiers genre, but it turned out to be very dystopian kind of future, and I really liked it. And so I just reviewed the three of these, even though this one's published back in the 80s, I think. So you get a little bit of what's going on with the whole genre of dystopian futures. It's very broad, and so 3 book reviews. Next up is General Quarters. This is a piece of fiction by William J. Wilson, It's, you know, I don't like to do the spoilers on the fiction, rather let you read them for yourselves, but let's skip to the end here. You see this Starship Dice Tower. This was designed by Tom Stevens, and he was offering it online. And this is kind of cool. I never pursued getting this particular dice tower. I probably should. It is kind of cool looking, and you know, it's got that whole 1950s, 60s rocket aesthetic going on that does fit with Star Frontiers from time to time. And then here is our next book review. Chris Donovan discovered that they were publishing back in 2017. Somebody gotten a license to publish new Buck Rogers material, and the goal was to match the TV series that had been out during the 80s in the pacing and the dialogue and the feel. And so it was almost as if this was a third season to that 2 seasons of Buck Rogers that was on TV. And it was, I believe, a 3-book cycle. But here we are 5 years later. I have not heard anything about this, so I don't know that I don't know that it did well or whether or not it fell flat. And then lastly, we have Grimm's Guide, of course. So there you have it. Frontier Explorer issue 19, winter of 2017. And gorgeous cover, of course. And I want to thank you for watching my video. I want to thank my subscribers. You guys are great. And if you've not subscribed, please do hit the like, subscribe, and bell icon. Help me build the channel. But until then, I will see you in the frontier.